All right, everyone. So this is going to be our second Cognos analytics session. And again, I need to say that there will be a lot of information that we're going to cover, and you may need to watch this recording more than once or part of the recording, all right? So here is today's agenda. We're gonna talk about the dashboard and infographics, how to add visualizations and widgets to your dashboards. We're gonna talk about filtering your dashboard, and we're gonna talk about the appearance properties. We're gonna talk about stories, and the exciting part would be the group assignment, how you're gonna use the Cognos Analytics to do the group work. All right? Then, of course, always open to questions and answers. So where did we stop last time? We used claims and weather data, right? That tracks the customer information, such as state where the customer lives, right? And how much the customer pays monthly premium for the insurance. It tracks the vehicle information, the coverage type, and the claim type, right? And we try to predict the total claim amount. So this is a screenshot of the partial data, right? So, and just to summarize the data pre-processing steps that we did is we created the embedded filter to remove the rows that missing effective to date, right? So if there is no effective to date, we don't want to look at those records. Then we created the selectable filter that allows you to look at the data for the personal policy type for the small vehicle. So what selectable filter is a filter that you can turn on or off. You may apply it to visualizations as needed, right? Then what also we did was we took the income column. There are some missing values, but I made a little modification to what we did. We replaced the missing values with the column average, but on top of this, what I also did was I added another function here to round because I didn't like it looked kind of like multiple number of digits after the decimal point. So round function, right? It takes what you want to round, the actual number, and then here is the number of digits after decimal point, right? So basically, just a summary what we did, but the only change that I introduced was the rounding, all right? And the same thing, the monthly premium, right? Those columns is a numerical columns that have some missing values that in the rows that were not removed by removing the rows with missing effective date. So what I did was I just replaced it with a column average. And another thing, there is a video where I showed you how to replace the claim reason with other. So if the claim reason is missing, we treat it as other, right? We can do that. Then we created some data groups, right? Oh, the sound is still poor. Class, can you hear me?
It is coming in and out, and when it is coming out, it's just gibberish. I'm sorry, Elena.
Oh, well, to my knowledge, it was fixed, but okay. So, now I'm trying, but to my knowledge, it was addressed. But okay, so basically, what we did was we created the data group that called number of policies, right? We don't want to look at specific number, but we want to do like 8 or more, 8 or 9, and etc. Less than 3 policies. So we did the data group. We did two types of data groups, right? For numeric and for the categorical. Now, what else we did last time? Let's take a look at this. We looked at, if I go to my content, we so that's a data module, right? The data module, claims and weather data module, right? So that's the data. I also created several calculations. This is a standalone calculation, right? It's not stored, the value is not stored in every single row. And I created the annual premium, right? So we know what the monthly premium is, but perhaps some visualizations you want the annual premium. So I did that. Next, what we looked at, let's close the data module, and we looked at the data exploration, right? So what's the purpose of data exploration? It's to get some insights about the data. But this is not what you're going to present to your manager, right? Because there is no way to change how things appear. There is no way to change. Like, for example, I'm stuck with a blue color. I cannot change the color code. I cannot highlight one point, one data point. Perhaps I want to look at a specific state. I cannot select the state in one visualization and make the same state to be selected in the other. There is no connection here, right? Then I cannot add text. I cannot add videos. I cannot add any graphics, any shapes or anything like that, right? I cannot change the background color. So that's what I'm limited at. The purpose of exploration is just to get the insights about the data. But today we're gonna focus on presenting our findings. So that is leading to the dashboards, right? So what's a dashboard? We create dashboard to present the insights. So the visualization have properties that we can change. We may reuse the visualization from the exploration. That's something called a pin, and I create the whole video on pins, how to use that. Then the dashboard may be in a view mode and edit mode. So view mode is you're previewing as an end user. Edit mode is when you try to make changes. It's possible to reuse the visualization from exploration, and I'll show you how. But then you can also add the text and etc., right? And widgets and more. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna create our first dashboard. How do we do it? There is multiple ways to do. First, one way to do that is to find the data module and select a dashboard from context menu, right? So that's what I'm gonna do right now. I'll close this data exploration for right now. So I'm gonna go to my content. See this? This is a data module, right? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna click here, and I'm gonna click on create dashboard. Now there are several types of dashboard here. Infographic is one single long page, right? You cannot break data, you cannot break visualizations into tabs. And if you want to apply the filter to all visualizations, it will be all visualizations. Tab layout is what we're gonna use because first of all, you can split visualizations into multiple tabs, right? Because when you have a long page, it could take longer to load, right? Then here you can organize it logically into the tabs. Then what else is that you can filter each tab separately or all tabs altogether. And then secretly, and you'll see that you can save this dashboard, you can export it as a story. So there is a shortcut, a little shortcut that you can take an assignment for, and I'll show you. So first you're gonna create the dashboard, right? Here are different page templates. So, and what I did was I spelled it out for you here, the differences and similarities between infographic and uh, dashboard, right? And the reason we use the tab because we may save it as a story, but again, both can be in the view mode, edit mode, and you may preview data being visualized, you may reuse visualizations across the board, and etc., right? So here, this is a template. See, like you have a freeform template and you have out of the box template. Out of the box template will resize. Suppose that you're doing a demo on a TV, you connect your laptop to TV, it will adjust to the screen size, right? So, but freeform, there is no predefined design. Well, I like to choose 2 by 2, but because, well, the more panels you have, the longer it could take to load. If you're presenting somewhere with a slow internet connection, it could be a problem, right? So now let's do this. Let's go ahead and select tab. I like this 2 by 2, but people are different. Okay, so this is my first tab, right? This is my first tab. Dashboards can have many tabs. This is my first tab. I see this. See this. This is 2 by 2. What else do I see here? This is the data that I used to build this dashboard, right? So what is this? Remember, this is a calculation, standalone calculation. Then when I expand this, here are the columns. Similar to data exploration, each icon tells me the data type, right? Different icon represent a different data type of the column. And I still have something here where I can check the properties, right? See this, I can check if it's the usage aggregation. Aggregation tells how the data is being summarized, but this is a data group. So of course, there's no aggregation. But what else I forgot to tell you is that for the columns such as income, I change the aggregation to be average because when I want to summarize the income by state, I'm not interested in the sum of money that people make in that state. I want to look at the average, right? So that's all set. Whatever settings I made in the data module, it will be available here. Right, so here, this is just my columns, right? What else do you see here? This is a filters area that can be expanded and collapsed, and we're gonna talk about applying filter to one tab and multiple tabs, right? So now here, this is how you toggle between edit mode and preview mode, right? Preview, edit, okay? Very important thing is that you want to save it. Always save your work because if you get disconnected, too bad. All right, so I'm gonna go to my content and I need to save it. It's in my content and I want to save it something that I know, right? Perhaps cars dashboard. Let's do cars dashboard. I saved it as the car dashboard and I'm gonna hit save. All right, so that saved it. Now, so that's the save button. This is the undo redo, right? So you got this, guys. I don't remember how many latest changes you can undo, but of course, if you make change, you close the file, or you reopen, you cannot undo any changes that were made before that, right? So now there are multiple ways to add visualizations, as you can see. Here is the visualizations library here, different visualizations that you can add. Like, for example, if I want to add pie chart, I can just drag and drop. But watch what I'm doing. If you put your mouse on top of this arrow, right, this visualization size is going to be the size of the panel, right? So this is a pie chart. But again, why my visualization is empty? Because I did not specify what I want to visualize, right? So, and what is required? Take a look at this. When you have this little asterisk here, it means that you must specify something here to see visualization. If you don't specify anything in here, then you won't be able to see the visualization, right? So now I want to visualize. First of all, remember the purpose of the pie chart is to show the percentage of the whole, right? So perhaps I want to see how many people, the percentage of people in the state, in each state. So customer is gonna be the size, right? I'm summarizing the number of customers, and what is gonna be my segment? It's gonna be state, right? State or state code. So that's gonna be the segment. There we go. Now, so this is a pie chart. Does it help? Not yet, because it tells me here how many customers I have, right? But the purpose of the pie chart is to show actually percentage. How do we fix it? Well, we can fix it. This is what you're gonna do is you can go to the properties. So this is the properties, right? I selected this visualization. The properties that you see are based on visualizations that you have selected. So this is my visualization, and I see properties for what? For pie chart, right? So there are general properties here where you can change the colors, and there are properties specific to the chart. I would like to see percentages, so I'm gonna change it here. See, now it makes more sense because I care about the percentages here. I'm not interested to see how many people. I would like to see the percentage of people, right? Okay. So next thing is this here, I can change how it looks like. See this? That's gonna look like a donut now. Uh, I can change how labels are. Like I want to be label filtered horizontal. I want to keep it like this, but you can change the indentation of the labels. Then there are other general properties such as appearance. You can add the border if you'd like, right? And etc. I'll let you play with this. But you just get the idea that the properties that you see depend on the object that you select, right? Okay, hopefully it makes sense. All right. So next thing is that, see this, I have one tab currently, right? I can create another tab just by clicking on this plus sign, and I can select template, sorry. Okay, now, what happens is this, you select the template and you don't like the template that you have selected. You can click here, see this here, this is to edit the title. Here, this one is to duplicate, right? Make a copy. And here, this is a change template. You can always change template if you want to. Okay, so just know that. Now, right now, speaking of properties, what do I have selected? I don't have any visualization selected now, but the properties are still available. But what properties do I see here? Those are different, right? Those are properties for this canvas. For instance, here I can change the title color to red, right? Then I can change the selection color to green, right? So I can show the tab that's being selected in green, and etc. I can choose if I want to show the grid. Well, you can change the size and etc. I mean, you play around with this at your leisure, right? There are many things you can do here. All right. So now this is how you open the properties. This is how you close, right? And then collapse, right? So you might need to know this for the purpose of taking screenshots. All right. You can expand areas and collapse, right? And also there are multiple ways to add visualizations, right? There are multiple ways to add visualizations. What I did recently was just edit it from the visualization library. You can also reuse your visualizations from the what you did last. Well, your assignment was a continuation of three, right? You can reuse the work that you did for assignment three. This is how you would do this. Oops, something's going on. Okay, now it should adjust. All right. So what you could do this. You go to the my content. See this? You've got this data exploration, claims and weather data exploration. This is what you did last time. And you did some models right here and some visualizations. What you could do is see, like for example, I have this visualization here, monthly premium by vehicle class, right? I have this. How can I use this visualization in my dashboard? Very easy. Look at this. I can create a pin. And what's pin? Pin is just basically the favorite. So it's gonna add these pins. And I have a whole video on pins, on how to search them and etc. Right? So here is a pin. I added this. Now, when I come back to my close the data exploration, right? I like to close what I don't need to have open. So here, in order to add the visualization, I just go here, and this is my pin that I just created, and I can drag and drop. Very easy, right? Here we go. But now, in addition to what I had before, I've got the colors that I can play with, right? I can go here and I can adjust this color that I want, right? Like element color, I can do green. See this? I'm just using it as an example. You can try any colors that you like, okay? But oops, something's going on. I just showed you an example on how to do. Okay, so that's a plus side that you can change colors, you can change how things appear. But for you want to plan carefully. You want to, well, think ahead of time because uh, how you're gonna group visualization based on some type of like subtopic perhaps. For example, here if I'm looking at the total claim amount, perhaps in one tab I want to look at total claim amount by vehicle type, etc. Right? Then I could look at the total claim amount by state, etc. So it lets you to break down by tabs the visualizations. Now another thing is that what else you can do. Do you remember this guy from last time? This assistant, there is a whole video on this. It's still available here if you want to use it here. Remember, you type data, it's gonna show you what data you have access to. Do remember this is a command that you can run to see the data information, right? So see, you can see more the columns that can have relationship with that columns that can be related to the total claim amount. And perhaps I want to look at the monthly premium info. See this? So here are the visualizations that you got, and you can just drag and drop these visualizations to your uh, dashboard copy, right? You can use these visualizations from here. Just simple as drag and drop, right? Just drag and drop if I wanted to do that. Okay? So that, and you can always, like I did, I created some from scratch. Then you can also make a copy the existing ones. So this one, oh, if I do that, I think there is a way. Hold on, I close this. So if I select it, there is a way to copy it. Okay, for some unknown reason, it's okay. So if I selected this, I can just do copy and paste, right? Just regular Control C, Control V, that will do it, right? Yeah. But just know that you can make copies, you can duplicate, you can remove it. Oh, here it is. Now it's showing me. Now it's showing me. You see this little toolbar? Oops. It just showed a little toolbar where you can copy, you can delete it, and etc. Right? So I can move it. So this is gonna be up to you to select the colors. But what you want to make sure is that the information that you present is readable. So probably like light background, dark text, etc. Right? So that's that. Now, so see this, I have one tab, and I can put something in the second tab, right? So I can do just see this. You can also do this. You can just drag and drop the column. Remember? So if I have this state, if I drag and drop, it's gonna give map by default. See this? So that's a map visualization. And when I click here, for the color, see this is the state code for the color. I can do perhaps average claim amount or something like that. Average total claim amount. I can do that, or I can do the number of people, right? So this is average total claim amount, or I can do how many people, uh people I have, right, in this state, etc. So now I'm adding this to show you something, to show you how filters work. So see this, I've got my states in here, and I've got my states in here, right? And I can add more pins here. This is the total claim amount. All right, so I added this. Now what we'll do, let's see, we want to add a filter by the state, and let's see what happens, right? There are two types of filters. What I'm trying to show is I can expand the filters area. Now I go here. Here are my columns. What I do to add a filter, I would need to go and find the columns that I'm looking at. And in this case, this is a state. I'm gonna drag and drop state here. What will this do? Well, let's find out. I'm gonna select Missouri. I'm gonna click OK. See this? It filtered all my data for Missouri. Now I'm gonna go to the second tab, and it also filtered for that specific state. Why did it filter for the state? or both tabs, because I asked to filter both tabs, right? This is all tabs. I applied filter to all tabs. This is what I did, and this is what it did for me. Now suppose that I don't want to apply the filter to all tabs. Easy. I'm gonna delete this. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna drag and drop this here. This tab only. And I'm gonna select Missouri. This is filtered and this is not. Okay? That's it. That's the filters. You can filter everything, all tabs, and you can filter a single tab, right? Okay, so let's save that. Another thing is that all visualizations on the same in the same tab, right? They are connected if we use the same data source to create them. So if we use the same data source to create the visualizations are connected. So let's see. I prepared a little demo for you. Let me go back here. So in my content, this is what I have. This is a connection demo, little demo. Okay, so what do I have in here? Here is a list of states, right? I selected the list of states here. And this is showing me the total claim amount by vehicle class. Right now it's showing for all states. Total claim amount by vehicle class. It's a duplicate. I just copied it. Now, if I select the Missouri here, all my data get filtered by Missouri because I select the single data point and all visualizations are filtered, right, to show the data point. Jesus, I selected Missouri. It's showing me for Missouri in both, right? Same thing here. I selected another state. Then I selected Oklahoma. Everything got adjusted for this Oklahoma. Now, you can break this connection. Suppose that what I want to do is I want to look at total claim amount by vehicle class, but I want to compare two states. I want to select one state at the top and another state at the bottom. So how do I break this connection? Easy. Look, this is called the widget connections. This is a widget connections. I click in here. Then what do I want to break? I don't want this to be part of the group, right? So what I do, oh, first of all, I forgot that I'm in a view mode. I need to exit preview mode. I must be in the edit mode to be able to make changes, right? So now I can do something. See this? I selected this. So what it shows me is, see this number one? It means that everything, all visualizations here belong to the same group. So if I select one point, it's gonna select the same data point in every single visualization that I have, right? But I'm going to break this connection because I want to compare two states. So I click on this visualization that I no longer want to be part of the group, and I can do create new connection. There we go. Now this is no longer part of that, right? Now I want this list here to be part of this visualization. So I click here and I can do this. Add to existing connection, and I'm going to select two. There we go. Okay? So now let's take a look at this now. I'm going to exit this, right? I don't see the widget connection now, but this is what I can do. See this? I can look at, I selected Iowa here, and in here I can select Oklahoma. Just an example, right? And you can go and compare. You can do this for comparison purposes. You can say, okay, we know that the vehicle class, right, is one of the drivers of the total claim amount, but let's see how that is impacted by the state where I'm looking at, right? Not much, but I did find couple states that were different. Oh, see this Kansas and Iowa, they're a little different, right? Okay. So sometimes you want to look at the state, you want to compare side by side. So this is the purpose here, right? So that's the comparison. Oops, what's going on today? It's a different problem. It's something with okay. Oops. Now I see what happens. Now it kicked me out probably. Oh no, it's here. Okay, good. Now, sometimes once in a while it kicks you out, and if this takes long to load, you would need to clear the browser cache. But the cache that you clear is the browser on the VDI side, not the browser on your PC, okay? So that's that. Let's go back. So I covered this part, right? Oh, and another thing that I may have forgotten to mention is that, so if you're in edit mode, right, you can see the data that is being visualized. So here, it just shows that I selected one state, right? Okay, so I broke this connection, and now suppose that I want to unbreak this connection. What do? I click on View Widget Connections. I click here, and then what do I want to do? I need to add to existing connection. I add to the first one. I click here, add to existing, add to the first one, right? So this is how you undo. Or I could use undo button here, right? I could do that too. Okay, so now it's filtered and I can unfilter it if I want to. So I unfiltered it, but here, see this over here, it shows which data is being visualized. Here, this is just a list, right? I selected this, it shows the data here that is being visualized. So you see now there are some similarities, right? The visualization data being visualized, and I can add more stuff in here if I want to, right? So if you remember, we had a selectable filter that we created, right? So see this, it's a local filter for this visualization. If I want to, I can do you remember we created this personal policy type for the small vehicle? So I can go, and if it cooperates, yes it does. See this? I can reuse my filter here. This is a filter that we defined in data module. It's a selectable filter. I can use it here if I want to, okay? Just showing you what you can do. Alright, so save. Not sure why it's okay. Is video okay? Because what I see is a little bit odd, but okay, now let's go back to the PowerPoint. Alright, so this is just the interface. I showed you the tab properties, but I did it in a slightly different order, but I did. Oh, another thing that I have not showed you is the widgets. And I have a detailed video on widgets. So here, let's go back to our dashboard that we created. And remember, we are not using the browser back buttons, right? Okay, so here it is. Now, how do I add the widgets here? I'm gonna add another tab, let's say, and I'll show you how to add. Like for example, here, it's a visualization that's an assistant, and this is a widget. I can add text, I can drag and drop the text, and I can type something like I love data 610, right? I love data 610. There we go. See that? Now what you can do, you can also change the properties. But here you've got several options. You can go to the properties here and adjust the appearance, or also there should be the little toolbar. You can change it here. You can do it here, or you can do it in text details, okay? There are multiple ways. Just whatever you like. Alright? Appearance, you can do the fill color, etc. Right? Fill color of the text box and more. If you want to, you can add shapes, right? Here is a shape. You can add images. One thing is that you cannot copy and paste the picture from the web. You have to add a URL, and I'll show you more. I'll show you an example. We'll get to it. But you cannot copy and paste picture from anywhere. You need to specify the direct image URL. All right, and direct image URL ends with PNG, JPG, or GIF. All right. So that's the widget part. And you can just drag and drop fields like I did earlier. You can duplicate and edit, right? And you may use data from more than one data module to visualize. Yes, you may. But in this case, we use only one. But just in general, know that you're not limited to one data source. But when you select one data point, and you want all data, the same data point to be selected across the board, all those visualizations must come from the same data source. Okay? Yeah. Well, we talked about visualization library, right? You can just drag and drop and select fields that you want to visualize, right? And again, the same visualization has related visualizations, etc. So nothing changes. This is called visualization in the focus mode. It just shows you what you can do, like how you can add more, like you can repeat column, repeat row, and etc. Right? And how to minimize this. You may change visualization type. You may add the title, etc. Right? So that's a lot of fun. This is a pie chart. But here in this slide, I'm also showing you that you can change the text and you can put the color, etc. Right? And you can add text widgets. And in fact, I have the whole video on adding widgets. If you want to watch it, it will help, right? And an image. So let's see. I have a nice example that I prepared for you. Let's say this. Let's go back to here. Welcome. This is under my content. Well, it's of course it's my content, not your content. But I have this dashboard, car insurance dashboard that I created, and I have several tabs. And I put numbers for a reason, and you'll see the reason why. I did it later, but I strategically number it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here, well, first of all, I'm in the view mode, right? I need to go to the edit mode to see the details. So what is this? This is a text widget, right? Here are the properties. I can go here and I can access it here. What is this? This is an image. So how do I do? This is a picture, right? So if I take this, it should be a valid image URL. If I take this, see this is a valid URL, right? So you can do Google search for images and just get the image URL, right? So this is the it just a car accident insurance clip art, right? Well, if I wanted to, I can just Google for the image, right? So I'll go here. This I can just Google, right? This will search. So, oops, I forgot. I wanted to say that I want images, right? So here is my image, and you need to get the image URL, right? So I believe it's right click here, and then you can get the image link. I always forget, but then I figure out as I go. See this? Yes, that's correct. So in Chrome, you would need to find the image and then you right click and select get the image link. You want to make sure that the link is correct before you actually use it, right? Because sometimes people having a problem with image not displaying, but I'm asking, okay, is it valid link? Let's see, let's put a link in the browser and see what happens, right? So that's that. Okay, so this is the image and I specify URL. Description is optional, right? So here, this is just the different average claim amount, and I'm just looking by different things like a vehicle class, education, claim reason, different policy type, etc. Not just the claims percentages by state, by vehicle class, by education level, and by the policy, etc. So how do you think I did that? I had to create one, I copy paste, right, and then change the columns that I want to use. A lot of copy paste here. This was something that I did for my imaginary assignment 3, right? Remember, we did the driver analysis and etc. We did decision trees. And remember that, so you have the vehicle class, right? 2-door, 4-door, etc. The main driver, right? So that's driver analysis. And this is just looking at the averages by location. And this visualization is a little bit more advanced. So let's look at the focus mode here. What it did also, it also changed the color. I want to add the color by the gender. Okay, that's what it is, a little bit extra here. And you can change the colors in here. It's all yours, right? Legend, the chart properties. So I'll let you play around with this, right? So different scissors, legend, axis, all of that. I did mostly by trial and error and see what happens. I did something, I did not like it, then I click undo and etc. Right? You can change the opacity where you want to show the title and what the title is, etc. Right? Okay. Next thing. Visualizations are linked, and I show you different demo. Right? You can compare state data. Right? That's one example when you would use it. All right. So what happened here and what has not happened? This is a presentation, right? But there is no way to add animation in here. There is no way to say, okay, go from this, after 10 seconds, move to this page. After 7 seconds, move to this page. Let's show the car insurance claims data, and then in 5 seconds, show the picture. There is no such a thing as that here, right? It's just the user kind of like browsing this at their own speed. There's no transition between scenes, right? But one thing to remember is this. See this? I numbered this stuff because when I create on what I'm getting it now story, the story has this scene, right? The order of scenes in the story will be the same as the order of tabs here, and I'll show you what I'll do. This is a shortcut that you're gonna take for your assignment 4. You're gonna create your dashboard. Make sure that the dashboard is ready. When you get to this step, your dashboard must be ready. This is what you'll do. Do you see this here? Save as a story. Very simple, right? You don't need to create a story from scratch if you have this nice dashboard that you worked on. Look, I go to here, save as a story. There are different story templates that I'll show you in a second, but let's do the slideshow for right now, right? So slideshow basically is going to use a different canvas for each scene. But let's do the slideshow and let's gonna select. Now I need to specify what I want to save it at. I want to save it where in the my content, right? And by default, it's just gonna do, it's gonna say story, and then gonna put whatever the dashboard name was. Well, I'm happy. Now I want to open the story before saving. Well, okay, I'm gonna go save now. Okay, so what did it do? It created the new story, right? So what is a story? Let's take a look at this. So story is it's like slideshow, right? It's similar to the PowerPoint presentation, PowerPoint animated presentation, with numerous visualizations, and you can specify the timing for each scene, right? And the scenes they build upon each other. Uh, you don't need to export visualizations from an application. You don't need to copy paste stuff to the PowerPoint. You just create the presentation here, right? You can configure when things appear, disappear, and you can also add widgets. You can add new visualizations if you want to. You can apply filters, right? Uh, so that's one way to create a story, just to save. You save the existing the dashboard as a story, or you can also go from the menu. You can click on new and select story and select template. But if you do it this way, you would have to specify the data source. Okay, you would have to select the data that you want to build the story on. Here, what I just did, I did not need to select the data source because it got inherited from the dashboard. My dashboard already has a data source, right? Okay, now, so there are two types. I spelled it out for you. So slideshow, each thing has a different canvas. And here in the guided journey, the scenes share the same canvas, and I'll show you. But I'll show you now how to configure when things appear, disappear. You can change the scene duration, you can apply filters, and etc. Right? So let's see what's gonna happen here. So here, right, each of this is what? It was the tab in my dashboard, right? Remember? Now, another thing is that if I go back to my dashboard and make changes, those changes won't be visible here. Why? Because it's one thing. Once you export it, that's it, right? There's no link between this and that, okay? So once you export it, that's it. So you want to make sure that you're totally ready, okay? So what is this? This is a string. The string has a timeline. Timeline tells me when things appear and disappear on a user's view, right? And the story, it has a view mode and an edit mode, right? View is just a preview. Edit is when you want to, when you can make changes. So now I selected this here. I clicked on this arrow. What is this? I have four things in here, right? Four charts. And I can specify when each chart is visible. So for example, I can take this and I drag this here at 2 seconds. So that means this visualization here, when I play this scene, this visualization here will not be visible for the first 2 seconds, right? Now here, I want this to disappear after 3 seconds, right? Next, what I can do, I'm not limited to only 5 seconds. Why? I can expand this, right? I can make it longer than 5 seconds. Why not, right? You just drag and drop these things. There we go. Now what you can do, you can preview this thing, right? But to preview, let's see if I can do, I close this area. This is a filters area. I'm gonna close it so you kind of see this. I'm gonna do play. Look, not visible, appeared, disappeared, and these two continue, right? So you specify when you see things and when you don't see things, right? That's what this is, and you can minimize it, right? Here are just the properties. So I usually like to select play all scenes. So that's basically when you go to the view mode, you want to preview all of them, right? I made some changes. I have to save it because if I get disconnected, I'm gonna lose the work that I did. And there is no way to restore, right? Okay, so I can change properties if I want to here. And important property is this, the here is a story type slideshow, and here I can change how I want to transition. And what is that? So let's see, let's go back to the preview mode, and I'm gonna go to the first scene. I'm at the first scene and I'm gonna play it now, right? So that's previewing. See, that's a transition, right? I specify how I want to transition, right? So this is, now I'm gonna go back to edit mode and I'm gonna change again. And the property is a different type of transition. So I want to play all scenes still, but I want to change sweep. Okay, let's do this. And now I can go back to the first scene, or I can click here to go back to the first scene. Then I can go here. This is a preview mode, and I want to play. Now it just basically, I would just say how I want to go from one page to the other. See, so that's what it does. But see this, it also did the visibility thing because I specified when I want to see the chart, when I don't want to see the chart, right? And there are multiple reasons you want to use it, but again, that's your choice, right? Your dashboard, your choice, but I'm just showing you what can be done, what cannot be done. Okay, not showing what cannot be done. All right, so go back to the edit mode. Let's see here. And I created a detailed video on things you can do with the time, right? And this is just showing you that each thing has different objects, such as visualizations and the text, and you're not limited to the tabs that you had. What I'm saying is that you can just go ahead and add new scene if you want to, You can just add and you select the scene template. Do you remember that the dashboard had template and the scene has template, right? There we go, and then you can add visualizations as you like, right? You can do that too, no problem, right? Then if you don't like, I believe there is a way to change template, see? Or you can add another scene and etc. Right? So you're not limited again, there is no limit. You can keep on adding. I'm not sure if there is a limit on number of scenes, but I'm sure that you won't reach it here. Okay, next thing here. So we talked about that. Okay. Oh, this is just the different objects, right? I can add the spiral diagram, and this is the appearance, right? This is a slide on appearance, which I showed you. This in timeline. This is just the steps to export dashboard as a story, right? And we did that. Oops, do you guys see my screen? Yes, I hope you do. Okay. I want to make sure everything goes well. Okay, now this is just showing the correspondence. Each tab in the dashboard is going to be a scene. So you kind of want to think ahead of time because any change that you make to a dashboard afterwards won't be propagated to the story, right? So first create a dashboard. When you're ready, export it to the story. Okay, just when you're ready. Now, okay, so that's that. And I mentioned earlier that you can create the new one from scratch. How to create the new dashboard from scratch? You just go in here to new and the new story. Sorry, new story. See this story. And you might find it helpful to use slides and the regular Cognos manuals because the configuration here was done for our class. So what you see is only what we use in this course. You don't see anything related to reports since we don't use them, right? You have the same role as the demo user. So see here, you click on new and you click on story and you just select your template. Oh, and I did not show you the guided journey. I will. But anyway, you select the template, right? You're gonna go create and you can start from the scratch. You can start just by adding but first of all, you can't add anything. Why? Because you did not specify the data that you want to use. So you have to select the data source, and I'm gonna do this one, this data module. I'm gonna go add, so that's a data source, and I keep on adding my visualizations the same way, right? As you were doing that for the dashboard, right? So I'm not gonna save this. Don't save, close without saving. I just chose to. All right, so what is this? This is what I had opened before, right? I did not use the browser back button, but this is a list of what I have opened. And when you're done working, it's a good habit to close everything that you had open, right? Okay, so, and I don't like this one. I can delete it if I don't like it, right? So let's collapse. There is a way to delete. Oops. I always forget then I figure out. Oh, here it is. Do you see this ellipsis? This is a menu. Delete. There we go. Okay. Now I'm gonna try. I forgot to show you the guided journey. I should. So now we are in the edit mode. How do I know I'm in the edit mode? First of all, I see what? This filters area, right? Okay, so I'm gonna go in here. It's here. And now I'm gonna select the guided journey. The main difference is that in the beginning, you're gonna see a little, what do you call it? Well, not slide, but you're gonna see a little square that shows a preview of all scenes. And here you can choose any layout. I like this one. Well, it's a personal choice, but I like this one because here, if I have to take a screenshot for my submission, right? Assume I'm a student. If I have to take the screenshot, I can just select this one here and I can minimize this area, right? And here is my screenshot. I can play around with the zoom, but This is what I can show my teacher that yes, I worked on assignment and I have created this story, right? That's it. I can show it easily. Sometimes if you minimize, the visualization issues disappear. Minimize and maximize. Okay, now see that, and you can play around with the zoom, right? I want it to be readable. If I turn in the screenshot, it shows all my scenes, etc. All right, so now, oops, this is a preview. This is edit, right? Edit. And also at the usually you see it at the end here too. At the end, right? This is a preview of all your scenes. But if you do now, if you go to the view mode, right? I'm on the first one, and I'm gonna play that. You see the difference here. Do you see the difference? They're using the same canvas. They just slide. See, the scenes use the same canvas, where before the scenes use different canvas. Okay, there we go. All right, and there are more properties that you may look into, right? So you can play around with the colors and etc. But this is what I showed, right? And here this is show all scenes at the start and show all scenes at the end. I like that because we could take a screenshot and submit it for the assignment, right? Somehow you have to show that you did the that you worked on a story. You will have to do the story for assignment 4 and assignment 5. Assignment 5 group work will be different because you will be doing the recording, right? You will be doing, there are two parts. There is a paper and the presentation, actual presentation. I'll tell you more. But first thing is we're gonna finish this. I'm gonna close this. See, I got into a habit. I need to get into a habit of closing things because it's gonna be not nice. Oops, close. Right, so I'm here now. I wanted to show you what you have here in the team content. You have these folders that were pre-installed. I did not install it, they were pre-installed. In the samples, you've got some sample stories. This is not something that you're going to turn in for your grade, but this is something that you want to check. If you have, sometimes you have no idea what am I going to do? How am I going to do my presentation? It might help to watch some examples that was already done. You cannot edit it, but you can run it. So what the way it's your account is set up, you have the permission called run. So basically, it's a little bit more than read. You're allowed to preview this, right? You're allowed to play around with this, but you cannot make any changes to it. If you want to make any changes to it, you would have to save a copy to your own area. You would have to save a copy to your own area, right, of this, if you want to play with it more. Okay, so I'm gonna close this, but you know where the samples are. They're there if you want to check. Yeah, and see this, I had this open, so it added this to the recent. And again, something to be careful. Suppose that I want to remove something from, oof, I want to remove something from the recent because I'm not careful. I keep clicking on it. This is the action menu. Remember, remove from recent, right? It will remove from recent. Oh, you cannot delete it here. Notice that you don't have an option to delete here. Why? Because you do not have the right privileges for that samples folder, right? Just remove from recent. On the other hand, when you're looking at your work, right? This is your work in your content area, perhaps you can delete, you can remove from recent. So just know the difference between remove from recent, it will just remove from the recent, right? Delete will delete the file altogether. I made a mistake before. Please don't make the mistake that I made. Okay? Please promise you're not gonna make this mistake because then that's it. There is no recycle bin. Deletions cannot be undone. Okay? Now, so that was the dashboard. Now we're gonna get to the fun part, and I'm gonna do the configuration, and you're gonna do the actual work. So For assignment 5, there is a different set of data, and I'll show you everything. So look, team. So here it just shows you where you are currently. You want to go back to team content. So see that this is the data for assignment. Assignment 4 is a continuation of 3. So the data that you put for 3, you're gonna use it for 4, right? The same data. Well, you're familiar with the data. You already did some exploration, right? So you can reuse your work from assignment 3 to 4. Fair? Yeah, probably. Now, assignment 5. Here is the data options for assignment 5. There are 5 data sets. If you want to go for a challenge, look at this one, US News. This looking at the college graduation data, college graduation rate. Or this one is life expectancy. These two data sets have some missing values. This is if you want to go for the challenge, and this is actual data from actual study, right? So here you've got 5 options for assignment 5. They're here, but instead of copying data to your own folder, you're gonna have a designated area for your group. So this is how it's going to work. At the end of week 9, your professor will tell me the assignment to the teams. In Leo, there is a capability called group, working with group area something. You will be assigned into groups, and I'm gonna do the same assignment in Cognos. I'm gonna create groups and I'm gonna configure the folders for your groups. So basically, let's make an assumption for this demo. Let's assume that I'm taking Professor Marietta class now, right? My enrollment semester is fall 2022. I'm taking Professor Marietta's class, session 9080, and she assigned me to team 1, right? So what administrator or me will do is, you're gonna see this assignment 5 group work folder. It will show up as soon as you are added to the team. You will see this folder. You're gonna click here. You're gonna see your enrollment semester, which is fall, right? You're gonna click on fall. Well, I know some of you may have attempted the course before for numerous reasons, right? I do not like to delete past work, so if you see fall 2021, perhaps no, that's not what you need to look at now. You need to look at your current enrollment semester. So this is fall, right? And this is going to be the team. So that's a naming convention I use, session. And your session number says at the top when you log into the classroom. And this is your team name, right? The group, I believe it's called group in Leo. So you know, right? So I'm gonna go over again how to access your team folder. Assignment 5 group work, your enrollment semester. And this is your folder for your team, right? Right now it's empty. I did not save anything in there. But please make sure you understand how to do that. As soon as you are put in a group, as soon as Professor Marietta or the other instructor teaching the other session notifies you that the groups have been set up in Cognos, you want to log in and to make sure that you see your group. Trust me, we had a student in the other session that just finished who who waited until the end to do the work, and surprise, surprise, the day before semester, the student did not know how to access the group folder. No, seriously. You want to make sure that you know how to access the group folder and you want to work with a team, because the approach I recommend you to take is this. Whenever you assign to the group, you want to select the group leader. This is how I would have done it. Select the group leader. As a team, when you decide what data you want to use, right? So this is the assignment 5. Suppose that we decided as my team to use the car data. What you're gonna do, pick the team leader. The team leader will do this. Gonna go here, right? To copy or move. Well, you're gonna do the copy. But where do you copy the file? Instead of copying the file to personal area, the team leader is going to copy the file to your group area. So how do you do this? See that? This is a group, right? Here, this shows me the current location I'm in. I want to go back to team content. I want to go to the assignment 5 group work, my enrollment semester, my team. There we go. And you have to select copy to. Important, if you select move to, you're gonna get an error because moving the file means deleting the file from original location, but you don't have a write permission for that folder, right? So you're gonna go copy to. There we go. Okay? Now, how do I know that the file was copied? How do I access that folder as a team member? I'm gonna go back here, assignment 5 group work, enrollment semester. This is a team, okay? One more thing that the team leader should do is create a data module. Why? Because you're gonna be doing some data pre-processing, right? You're gonna be adding filters, calculations. How many times do you want to do it? Do you want to do it in every single exploration that you create? No, you want to do it once in the data module. So what you want to do is you want to do create data module, and you're gonna save it as I'm gonna go save it. But again, now I'm gonna be selecting what? The team content. I'm not gonna be saving it privately to my area because my teammate cannot see my area, right? And this is the assignment 5 group work, enrollment semester, and this is a team, and you're gonna be able to save it, right? And I'm gonna say this as cars data module. Okay, so if you are unable to save it to your team folder, you're gonna submit a ticket, and I'll have to look into permission. Okay, so car data module. I take permission tickets as a high priority, okay? So here it is, right? This is where I'm saving it, and I'm gonna click on save. Worked, because you have a right permission for your folder. This is your folder, right? Now, another thing is this, so this is a team content, right? So this is, I just saved this file. And everybody else on my team should be able to see these two files. One thing is that, and I double checked with IBM that this is okay, this is the case. You can share files, right? But you cannot, two people cannot edit the same file at the same time. So right now, I have this file open, right? If I log out and if I don't close this file, I could create a problem. Because what if my classmate, my teammate, wants to edit it too, right? Well, even though I'm not logged in, I have it open, right? Or maybe if I did not save the last change, that's going to be a problem. So please get into a habit before you exit, before you end your session. Go here, click on a welcome, everything that's open, close it and save it. You don't want to have any issues, right? And you end up with issues. So we want to eliminate the issues. Before you log out, close everything you have opened. Make sure everything you saved it needs to be saved. That's it. Very easy, right? All right. So remember team content, but few things to watch out. That suppose that you don't see here. Suppose that you're in a team two. By accident, if you see also you're in team one, if you see team two instead of team one, you're gonna submit the ticket, right? And I'm gonna look into it. It's easy to fix, all right? But you want to make sure it's your team, all right? And another thing, sometimes you're not sure if you have the permissions that you're supposed to have. So here, so if I click here, it's in my preferences. You can see what the admin did for you. It's in advanced, I believe. Yes, group and roles, view details. So here this tells you the group that you are a member of. And what's happening is this is just all authenticated users. This just lets you log in. This is the team that you're on. Everyone, this is everyone in data 610 because uh, this one lets you see the team content, all of this stuff, this one, the data, and all of this pre-installed stuff. So that's what it does. Everyone lets you see this piece here. And then whatever group you see in here, it's controlled by the group membership, group project membership. Here, you can be part of multiple groups, all right? So your instructor gets access to all of your teams, to all teams in the course that she's teaching. So your instructor and the course TA Abel, they can see all your work. They have access to the team folders, right? So now, just for the demo purposes, let's assume that there is another user. This is demo 3. Let's assume there is another user, demo 2, who's this team member. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm going to log out, right? So how do we exit? We sign out, and I'm gonna go as another team member, right? Demo 2 is another team member. Trust me, I set up them to be on the same team. Oops, password. Okay, so this is a password, and I'm gonna go sign in. I entered the password. Okay, okay, okay. No problem, no problem, Becca. No problem. Okay, so here it is. This is another user. This is a teammate. Okay, I'm gonna go to the team content. There we go. I'm a teammate. I'm gonna go here. This is me. Okay. See this? I see the files that demo 3 saved. See? Now what I'm gonna do, just for the purpose of this, I'm gonna do this here. I'm gonna do create new exploration. Just want to do that. Just want to show you this. And okay, so this is the cars data, and here the purpose is to see the car efficiency. So you can look at the city roads, or you can look at the highway roads. I'm just giving a little hint. In the data set, you can look at the highway efficiency, or city efficiency. Just an example. Suppose that I just add this. That's it. So this is my data exploration. I'm gonna save it as car exploration. Save as. Okay, and I'm gonna go to the team content, right? Oops, team content, and I'm gonna go to here. This is a group work. This is my team, and I want to say cars exploration, right? Cars exploration. See that? I save it. But when I created this exploration, which copy of the data did I use? I used the data that is saved where? In the team folder. Because if I use the copy that is saved in my folder, in my personal area, no, then my teammate will not be able to see the visualization. My teammate will be getting an error. That's what somebody in another group ran into issues, because they use the copy of the data file in a personal folder instead of using the file that is in a team folder, right? So if you build visualization from the data in your own area, nobody else in your team will be able to view that visualization because they have no access to data in your area. See? So that's very important. That's why I recommend from the beginning the team leader saves the file to your group folder and you work from that, right? We should make it simple. So now demo 2 is done, changes saved, closed, right? Exit. But see, demo 2 is belongs to the same group. See this? If I go to my preferences, right? Go to personal advanced, I'm just showing you that we are in the same groups. See, we're in the same group. I'm just showing you that it's the same group, 2 members. Okay, so now I'm gonna log off, sign out, and then the demo 3 logs in, right? I should be able to see the exploration that my teammate created. Right, so I'll log in, sign in. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to team content, and again, this is a group work, right? Here, this is the exploration. Now, if I open it, I should not see any errors. If I see any errors, such as data not found, it means that my teammate did not do the work correctly. My teammate may have used the copy of the data saved in their own content instead of team folder. All right? So that was the issue in the other group. Okay, another thing is this. The files have dependencies, right? There are dependencies among the files. So for example, cars data, I use that to create data modules, and I use data module to create data exploration. If I delete this cars data, my data module is going to be invalid, and my cars exploration is going to be invalid also. Oh, I'm in trouble, right? You cannot really do that because that's it, and there is no way to fix it. It invalidates this exploration forever. Even if I create the data module again with the same name, I still cannot fix it because this scarce exploration is kind of like reading a unique number associated with this data module. All right? So they're linked by some type of number that we cannot see. Well, you could, but there should be a way to see the properties. Properties. This is data module. Somewhere there is an ID. See, this is a unique ID of this data module. And this scarce exploration is referring to this data module by this ID. Even if I recreate the data module with a new name, right? If this is gone, this is not going to know what I'm talking about, right? There is no way to fix it. So, yeah. And the reason it says permission for this file full is because I'm an owner. I created it, right? So, but this is just the folder itself is set to the right. So you have a write permission for your folder. You cannot see your classmate folders and etc. Right? So just know that. See this number and the error message is gonna it's gonna show this number. Right? So let's see the slides. This is just talking about the assignment 5, right? Okay. And this is how to access your team folder. There is also a video and details, and this is how to copy stuff, right? Deletions cannot be undone. This poor guy did not listen to Yelena's presentation and deleted the CSV file. Then the data exploration became invalid because the system no longer knows what that file is. And if the file is restored, nope, it's treating it as a different file. See? So that's it. That's it. You have to redo the work all over, right? So this is one reason why you guys do not upload in your files because well, what could happen is this. You make changes manually, you re-upload it, then the work you've done is lost. Because once you delete and re-upload the file, right? That's it. It's a new data. It's a new data set. It's not the same, even if the name is the same. So, no. Okay? And this is the error that you could see. This is what happens. If you open the file, if the file is sitting in your recent, and the file actually no longer exists, you're gonna get this error when you try to open it from recent. But it disappears. So if you see this error, it's because the file is still sitting, the pointer is still sitting in your recent, but you no longer have access to the file. But that's okay. When you click on OK, that's it. That thing will disappear. The tile. So sometimes you see a tile for the file that you no longer have access to. So that's an error. But it will go away by itself. Just click OK if you see that. Okay. Well, this is just the case statement. I created a video that shows an example of advanced calculation. This is mostly like if you like writing the code and if you cannot wait until data 620 to start coding, here it is. Okay. Well, some people like to write code, so I have this. Okay. Now the floor is open for questions. Any questions? Anything you would like me to go over? Anything that you would like to see more examples of? No? Okay. So, I mean, I understand that and I value people's time, so you're gonna have this recording and you're going to have the slides as always. Okay? So, questions again, going once, going twice, going thrice. No questions? Well, if there are no questions, then we're gonna call it a night. And I wish you guys good luck and enjoy the upcoming two assignments. All right? So if there are no questions, oh well, let's see something in chat. Oh, most welcome, most welcome. And as always, I did my best. And I need to tell you, each time I do the presentation, it's totally different. Same material, but a different way to present. Okay? So, so I'm gonna go and stop the recording. All right? Thank you very much for attending this session.